So, do you want to talk about what went wrong with the leaf mulch?
No, you can.
Oh, I can, because it's my fault.
Well, no, I think we both own it.
All right, here are all of my daffodils that I've added this year. I've been slowly adding varieties as I've been growing, picking out ones that work best for my floral business. And for me, it's important to have a lot of variety, so I don't need as big of volumes of each variety. So here's what I've got this year. I'm adding one called Bridal Crown and Wave and, oh, how does one say this? Dalnaso. This is a really pretty one. And Electress. So those are the guys I've added this year. So I grow my daffodils in my main flower field, which is primarily for my annuals. And I do grow a few perennials in one of my beds, but mostly I try to keep my perennials and annuals separate because the management in terms of the weeds particularly is quite a bit different. But I'm okay with growing my daffodils in here, and that is because I grow them in one of my wider beds that is for my squash, pumpkins, and gourds. It actually works really well to get double use out of my bed because by the time the foliage from the daffodils is starting to die back, it's time to start planting those summer heat lovers, but they don't take off so quickly that they overshadow the last of the daffodils. So by the time the daffodils have been able to replenish all of the nutrients they needed with their foliage, it's a while yet before the squash takes over and overshadows it. So it works quite well that way. And the squash have quite good coverage, of course, so they help to prevent weeds from growing during the summer. All right, so I've already got my trench dug and prepped, and I'm just going to place my daffodils. For daffodils, the rule of thumb is to go 2 inches the height of the bulb. It's kind of the general rule of thumb for the depth. It can be hard to find information though on the spacing, and I think that's probably just because we're growing for production. I like to give them some space, several inches normally, just to allow for them to multiply as they add baby bulbs on, and kind of with the idea that I'm going to be digging them up in a few years and splitting them. All right, I'm adding some compost before I cover these guys up. Now I'm going to mark my spot, and then I'm going to backfill as I dig out the next trench. All done. Daffodils are in. Pulled some dahlia tubers out while I was at it. They were in my way. So I'm gonna have to deal with those now. Let them air out a little bit. Hey, what are we working on, you guys?
Making leaves for the garden.
Yeah, so what are the leaves gonna do?
It's gonna be a source of manure for the plants.
It's gonna help them grow and then cover them for the winter.
Yeah, so basically we're getting what? Free flower food.
Yeah.
Free flower food.
Free flower.
Yeah. You guys are great workers. This is a bonus that we had a huge windstorm the other day, hey?
Yeah.
Oh, you guys better be careful. You're poking the bear, you know. Gorgeous.
What are we doing here, Marie?
We're collecting leaves. We do this every fall. We have a lot of big maples around our property, so it really makes a good leaf mulch.
So a mulch, and what else do the leaves do?
Well, they make me happy. I actually really love doing this job in the fall. It's a really pleasant job to do on a decent day. But they're also going to provide a lot of nutrients for the flower beds. And we're specifically using the leaves on my perennial beds and on my beds where we're not actually putting a cover crop down. So on a lot of my beds, we run a cover crop, like on all my annual beds, we run a cover crop that we can then let it go back into the soil in the spring to act as a green manure. So we really use these on beds where I have perennials and I can tuck them around my perennials. This is kind of like a dual purpose solution.
It's like a 2-in-1.
A 2-in-1. And it's going to add the compost basically to our flower beds, but it's also going to help prevent weed growth during the winter. And actually it's probably a 3-in-1 because it helps to protect the soil as well, because these are our perennial beds that we don't grow a cover crop on over the winter.
Yeah.
So it's going to help to protect the soil and keep the soil in place as well.
I guess another benefit is it's free. We have,
It's free. But you just said it costs a lot of labor, but to me that's also good because it keeps us strong.
Yeah, I guess as farmers sometimes you can't really count labor.
No, I mean it's fun. This one is fun to do with our kids too. That's also a thing. It's a family event.
I want to be at the front.
So do you want to talk about what went wrong with the leaf mulch?
No, you can.
Oh, I can, because it's my fault.
Well, no, I think we both own it.
I think both of us have a little bit of a tendency to like to take things we already know how to do and then change them and try it a new way. I don't know if that's like boredom or being really ingenious.
Yeah.
But in this case, well, so we normally, with our leaf mulch, we normally mow it on the ground. Like I collect it and then I get Steve to mow over it all, and then we load it up and then it goes onto the beds. So it's already, I like it to be mowed a bit. I like it to be sort of mulched down a bit, just so otherwise I find that they don't decompose fast enough, and it causes actually big problems with the bulbs when they start to come up. So I thought to myself, how could we do this, better, quicker, faster? And I proposed to Steve that this year we just directly load the beds and then we mow it. So we thought that would work. And so we've tried our ride-on and it just did not want to mow.
So yeah, the blade speed was just too fast, so it shot all the leaves outside the bed. So it didn't work at all. It was no good.
So we've tried the mower, that didn't work. So we're going to try the weed eater now and see if we can use our weed eater to get that mulching done. Otherwise, we're going to have a whole lot of work ahead of us, and the time saving project isn't so much of a time saver. So let's see how we do with that. Well, what do you think? Like, it's sort of working. It's, what is it, like a 5 out of 10? It's working
5
pretty
out of
good.
10. It's not half
It's
bad.
gonna take a while.
Yeah, and it's just shooting it into the garden bed, which isn't the best. And I don't know if it gets the whole amount. It doesn't pick it up and kind of spin it, so.
There goes the brush cutter. We're pulling out the big guns now. Oh, let's see. Actually looking pretty good. It's working! Thank goodness. It actually worked really well.
That looks awesome.
Yeah, I like the size of those pieces. They're not all too small. There's actually some big ones still left that should accelerate the decomposition, but hopefully not too much this year. Okay.
Step number 3 worked. The big guns, the tractor, and the brush cutter worked really well. So
Always got to break out the big guns.
yeah, it made it easy, and
Actually worked really well.
yeah.
Yeah, would we do it just exactly like that next year? What do you think?
I don't know. We're kind of perfectionists, and we're also trying to be smart farmers, which sometimes means being lazy farmers. The less work possible. So maybe next year, but I have some other ideas. Maybe I won't say them just yet, but we'd love to hear what you do for your beds. So drop us a comment about how you mulch your beds, if you use leaves or something else for your flower beds or garden beds. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. There must be some really creative solutions out there.
Yeah.
Anyways, this one's done, so that's a relief. Now we can go and warm up again.
Ah!